Back around the 1st of March, I put a sweet potato in potting soil to start sending up sprouts, which I could then turn into potato slips. And I've harvested quite a few of them, as you can see, and I've put them in a jar of water, and they've all sprouted roots now, but some of them are getting a little too much growth on them. And it's going to be another 2 or 3 weeks before I can put the sweet potatoes outside. So today I'm going to pot these up and get them started in some soil so they'll continue growing. And then these other slips will be ready to put into water. I've got some pre-moistened potting soil and some 4-inch pots here. And I'm going to get these over here and get them started setting up and putting into the soil and getting them potted for the spring planting in mid-May. Okay, we've got the sweet potatoes here. We've got the pre-moistened potting soil. We've got the pots. And we're going to take these out of the water and pick out the ones with the biggest roots on them. Some of them have not rooted yet. We'll keep those in water for a while longer. Actually, it looks like every one of them except one has good roots on it. And that one has starting roots, so I think I'm going to plant them all up if I've got enough pots. Let me see, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I got plenty of pots. I'm going to go ahead and pot them all up. And the bigger ones I'm going to put in deeper pots. And then the shallow pots I can get these smaller plants in them. These are 4-inch pots, so they can get a good root started on them. And I want them as deep in the soil as I can get them, so that they form more roots along the stem. Every place there was a leaf has now got a place for a root to grow. Here's the first one. This one has a beautiful root structure on it. It's ready to go. These are fairly easy to pot up, and as long as they've got roots on them, they'll immediately start searching out for nutrients in the soil and start developing. And then when it's time to transplant them, I simply take them out of the pots and put the soil and all right in the raised bed or in the tub where I grow them. You can see it's a really simple process to pot these up. And you can see the leaves on these had started wilting because they were in water constantly, and they don't like that. they like to have some soil. If you buy sweet potato slips from a nursery or from an online ordering system, you'll pay about $25 for a dozen sweet potato slips. If you put a potato in the soil like I showed at the beginning of this video and let it start sprouts and then break the sprouts off, put them in water to root, you'll get 15 or 20 slips for each potato that you put in there. So that's one potato, which probably costs less than $1 if you bought it. But if you save them from last year's crop, it's even less. But that one sweet potato is easily worth $25 because that's what it costs to buy a dozen of these slips from the online sources. This was a fairly small one. I'm going to put it in a smaller pot. You can see how roots form every place there was a leaf node. There's a root coming out. And all these, if you pinch this leaf off right here, put it underwater or under soil, that'll be a root that forms right there. It grows a lot like a potato, even though they're not part of the tomato family. They're actually a member of the morning glory family. But they do love to send roots down, and those roots then all turn into tubers. The more roots you have in the ground and get started, the more tubers you get because each root system turns into a tuber on the end. And it's easy to harvest 100 and 120 pounds of sweet potatoes each year off of these few slips that I have. These are shorter pots, and they'll hold these shorter slips that I have here. You can see how simple a process this is to pot these up and get them growing. And they'll, as soon as they get the roots into the soil, they'll perk up and you won't see any more wilted leaves. They'll really take off and grow. This little folding potting table that I have here that I'm working on is one of the handiest things that I've ever had. I bought this several years ago, 3 or 4 now. It cost $70 at the time, and I use it here in the greenhouse for my potting activities. And when I'm not using it, it folds up and stores in the corner out of the way, and it's a very, very handy table to have. I may not have enough potting soil here, wet, pre-moistened to plant them all. But if not, I'll stop this and I'll get some more potting soil and then finish it with the additional ones that I need to plant. I only have 2 left after this one, but I only have enough soil for this one. So I'll have to mix up a little more potting soil. It's important that you have the potting soil pre-mixed, especially if you have peat moss or coconut coir in it. You want that to be wet so that when you get them planted and you start watering the plants, the potting mix is already damp and it won't just run through the pots like it would if it's dry. So that's 2, 4, 6, 8 of them, and then I got 2 left. There's 2 more. So I'll stop this for just a moment and I'll make a little batch of potting soil and I'll plant the last 2 of them. Okay, I've mixed up a little more potting soil and now I'll pot up the last 2 of these that I have here and get them ready to go. These are small, but they have a nice set of roots on them, so they're going to do very well. I don't know if you're aware of it or not, but if you have sweet potatoes growing and they get too big, get too lanky, you can cut them back, cut the tops out of them, and put those in water and start rooting them for slips. And the bottom part will continue growing and it'll continue rooting and be ready to plant. And then you end up with 2 or 3 plants or slips from that one plant that you had. Okay, we have 1 more. The type of pots used isn't really important. These are just old pots that have accumulated over the years from having bought plants at various nurseries or various big box stores and save them and eventually find a use for them. And they end up being used many times. These have probably been used 4 or 5 times just for sweet potatoes alone. Okay, there we have all 10 of them potted up, and they're ready to start. They'll have a short period of time when they appear to be wilting or dying because they go into transplant shock, but that doesn't last very long, just a matter of a couple days, and they perk up and they start developing full growth. So that's the entire process of planting sweet potato slips and getting them growing. And I'll put these in a tray now and put them up on the shelf so that they can start the root development. Okay, they're all in a tray. They're setting up here on the window and getting ready to grow. They're setting alongside the other seedlings, peppers, tomatoes, and eggplants, and they're setting next to the original sweet potato, which is still developing more slips, and they'll be growing and then getting potted up along with these others. But as for now, we have 10 of them potted up and ready to go. So that's the process of planting uppotting, actually, sweet potato slips and getting them ready to transplant around the 3rd week of May. Thanks for watching.